Hmm.
And my love for real estate and my passion for helping people, I think pushes me to want to continue to grow the company and keep expanding so that we can offer, our platform, which I think is really unique to as many agents as we can, help them grow. It's fun. It's fun watching other agents' business grow too, because you've trained them and you've helped them and you've guided them to get to that point. That's almost as exciting as my business continuing to grow.
Welcome to YMI Talking, a podcast where the guests are so good, you'll wonder why the host is even talking. In each episode, you will hear one of the leaders of the Lehigh Valley's vibrant business hub. They will tell you the keys to their success, the mistakes they've made, and what they have in store for the future. Here is the host of YMI Talking, from YMI Insurance, Jimmy Honachik.
All right. That is me. I am Jimmy Honachik, and I am super stoked for this one. This one is going to be, I know they've all been good, but this one is going to be among the best. I have such a great guest. Frank Mastroianni is a realtor at Better Homes and Gardens here in the Lehigh Valley. He's from the Lehigh Valley. If you don't know him already, I'd be shocked. Anytime I'm with this guy, he knows everyone around him. He's such a presence, such a great guy, and I can't wait to dive in. So, Frank, thank you for coming on.
Jimmy, I'm excited to be here, man. I appreciate the invite. I've seen some of the recent ones you just did, and I'm certainly in good company getting to be a guest. So I'm excited.
Hey, thank you. So let's dive in. You are Lehigh Valley through and through, right?
I am born and raised.
And where did you grow up?
Right in the Emmaus Macungie area, so not far from where I am now.
And I mean, you've had the option to go away from the valley. Like, what keeps you here? What keeps you?
I mean, honestly, at first it wasn't intentional. I was very determined to go play baseball somewhere in college. Do all that whole thing after high school, and I tried to go away. Didn't stay away very long. The baseball thing didn't work out, so I ended up coming home. And then from there, my life just kind of kept me ingrained in everything the Lehigh Valley. So
Yeah. Let's talk baseball. So you were a pretty serious baseball player, right?
I was, yeah. For a high school into college age kid, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, like what position were you playing?
I was a second baseman. Little
Okay.
guy. I was fast. I could move around. I had range, so second base was the spot.
And did you have any idols on the baseball in baseball in general?
Sure. I mean, my dad was a big time baseball guy, so that's kind of how it got passed on to me. So, growing up, we were pretty diehard Yankee fans, and
Okay.
I was lucky to be a kid that got to grow up watching the dynasty of the Yankees in the 90s, early 2000s. So,
Yeah.
even though he wasn't a second baseman, he was a middle infielder. But Derek Jeter was my guy,
Yeah.
100%.
And I know you've got a pretty cool story. So, you're a big baseball fan. You go to the Hall of Fame. Like, tell me about that.
Yes. So a good buddy of mine, a couple of us, all baseball guys, for forever. So we pick a random. It might have even been like October, November, just a random Saturday, and we're like, let's go up and check out Coopersburg. I hadn't been there. They had been there a couple times. So
Cooperstown.
yeah, I'm sorry, Cooperstown.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I like Coopersburg too. I mean,
yeah,
I live right there.
yeah, right. Cooperstown. What did I say? Coopersburg. Yeah, tells you where my brain's at. Lehigh Valley, right? Yeah. So we jump in the car. It ends up being like a cold, rainy day, but we're like, you know what? We're going. We committed to it. We're going up. So we get up there, and it's pretty dead. There's not many people there, obviously, because of the weather and maybe the time of year. But we're checking it out. We're just in awe of everything. And the kind of guys we are, we're asking questions. There's not many people around, a couple of maintenance people. And we finally get to, they have individual rooms that kind of look like a locker room. So we get to the one where it's Yankee stuff. And I'm checking everything out. And there's a maintenance guy there, just doing some cleanup and everything. And kind of long story short, he becomes our buddy. He's giving us the tour sort of, and he opens up the one locker. He makes me put these white gloves on, and I got to hold the bat that Aaron Boone used to hit the walk-off home run in the 2003 ALCS against the Red Sox.
Get out.
Yeah.
So for you, like a diehard Yankees fan, that's
Yeah.
a dream come true.
Unbelievable. Like I was like shaking. My buddy Fritz is like trying to take my picture. He's like, look at me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, I kind of like almost blacked out for a minute, but it was really cool.
You just got that maintenance guy fired, but that
Yeah,
is really
the
cool
security
for you.
cameras, that probably caught up to him, but he definitely made some, early 20-year-olds day that day for sure.
And you talked about like your personality, and that's the kind of guy that you are. Like you're very outgoing, very gregarious.
Yeah.
Do you think that the sports background has anything to do with that? I'm curious because I find people who are in sports sort of, they seem to have that outgoing trait.
Yeah, I think it could be, or just help to develop, my personality a little bit more along the way. Just
Yeah.
the confidence of being an athlete and, always being in those situations where, you're with teammates, you're with people all the time. Even guys you play against that you get to know, it becomes, that camaraderie. It becomes, part of who you are.
And everything you just said, I feel like could apply to the real estate space. Like you're talking about the team, the camaraderie around you, but you also go up head to head with other realtors, but there is a camaraderie there as well, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. In our world, cooperation's a big thing. That's something that we push. We want agents to, bottom line, be working together, because the goal is to get to the closing table and have everybody on the same page and everybody happy. It's not so much we're competing with each other. It's that, we're working together. Yes, there's competition with, is my buyer's offer going to get accepted? Am I going to get this listing over somebody else? But, beyond that, we're definitely still a pretty tight knit group that have the same goals.
Yeah. What drew you to real estate in particular? Like, how did you end up in that field?
That's a funny story. So I never really gave it a thought. I was the guy, didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Thought maybe I wanted to be a teacher. Didn't do great in school. College was not the perfect fit for me. It was I couldn't ever hone in on something, and I bounced around. I tried to go to college, came home, tried to go back, and so I was, a young adult trying to figure out what I wanted to do, doing all the odd jobs. And I actually had somebody that came to me and said, "Well, Frank, you're such a people person. Why don't you come work for me?" He was a manager at Scott Chevrolet. He goes, "Why don't you sell cars?" So that was actually my first venture into some sort of sales was
Yeah.
cars. And I was sort of natural at it. I was good with the people, and I did well quickly. They actually moved me down, so I became one of the more exclusive guys there selling the Hummer and Cadillac product for them.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
did very
Which are
well.
higher end items, I would think, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that was,
Okay.
that was back when that smaller Hummer had just come out, the H3, which was very popular because it had got better
Yeah.
gas mileage. It wasn't crazy expensive, and there weren't that many Hummer dealerships. We were kind of an exclusive spot there, having one in the Lehigh Valley. So people would come from Jersey, New York, Delaware, all over the place to come buy a Hummer from us. So it was a good spot to be in at the time. Over the 3 years I did that, the one thing that was tough for me was I didn't love that pressure sales feel. I was good with people. I built a rapport with them, and then that's kind of the people you got a better deal out of, right? They weren't the ones that were beating you up over the price or trying to make you go back to the manager and so on. So after a little while, that started to wear on me. And actually one night I was just out with some people having a drink at, well, I guess it's Top Cut now. It used to be the third story bar at Melt before they converted it. There was just a rooftop bar.
Yeah.
And just me being me, having conversations with anybody. There was an older couple that were very friendly that I started talking to. And it turned out to be Nick and Kathy Kavunis, who own Coldwell Banker Heritage, which is a big brokerage in the Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
So they were actually the ones that put it in my ear first. They were the ones being like, "You know what? Have you ever thought about this?" I'm like, "No, I really never have." So I ended up going to their little real estate school they have at their office on Tillman Street. 2 nights a week when I wasn't working selling cars. I worked my schedule so I could go do that Tuesday and Thursday nights. Got my license, and then ironically, I actually did not end up going to work for them at Coldwell Banker, which is a crazy part of my story too. Right before I was going to sign with them, a family friend who was a broker at a different company reached out to me and said, before you make a decision, just come in and talk to me. So that's kind of where I pivoted and ended up where I was supposed to be, really, because it introduced me to my mentor and the guy that I'm still working with today, Steve Gould.
Let's talk about Steve. I know that you had called him out as really being your mentor. How did he kind of take you under his wing, and how have you grown because of him?
Yeah, so it was funny. Good family friend Carl Valera was the one that brought me in. I don't know if you know Carl. He owns the House and Barn there in Emmaus. He dabbles in restaurants and stuff too, but he was the managing broker there at the Pat White office in Macungie, right there on Route 100. And he brought me in. We had known him. His kids were friends with my younger siblings, so it was a comfort level, right? I'm like, all right, let me go talk to Carl and see what he has to say. So his pitch right when I walked in the door was about how the one thing they do at Pat White is they give you a mentor when you first start. So he was very smart, and he actually brought Steve into the meeting. So Steve came in and sat down with me, and there was just an instant connection and instant rapport. I was excited about the thought of having a mentor, obviously being a 22-year-old kid trying to figure out this real estate world. The thought of a mentor that had been doing this and was already becoming successful was a great idea. And we just hit it off. So, right from day one, it was a good fit. Steve is a unique character. He's somebody else you could have on here at some point.
Okay.
He's got some great stories as well.
I'm sure.
Yeah, at the time, he wasn't even doing real estate part-time yet. He actually owned a store, the Triangle Travel Store, right in Emmaus on Main Street, right by the Triangle. He actually traveled around to old folks' homes all around Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New York, and would basically set up pop-up stores for them to be able to buy clothing and other things because they couldn't always leave the place, and to go do those things. So he comes from an interesting background in sales and was doing real estate part-time and was doing so well part-time with that, he ended up transitioning to doing it full-time.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I became his licensed assistant. So when I was getting started, he mentored me through my first however many deals, but then we continued to work together because we enjoyed working together. So I was his first licensed assistant when he started his team. And that was 2000.
That's pretty cool.
2009.
Yeah. Talk to me about the importance of a mentor and just the concept in general. I mean, clearly it's something that you've bought into. I mean, have you tried to continue that? Like, how important is mentorship to you in general?
Super important. It's the reason I'm where I am today, and I think I got lucky. I've heard other people, other agents that have had an experience where it didn't go that way for them. They tried to place them with a couple different mentors. It was never a great fit. So I definitely got lucky in that aspect. But Steve and I realized that it's not always the best fit for everybody to just place them with any agent to be their mentor. So our philosophy now with our company is to really be the mentors for the agents. So that's part of what we do on the leadership team is we provide, that mentorship and training and really more one-on-one interaction and support for agents that need it. So, we're not just sticking them with another agent, which, listen, that worked out good for me, but it doesn't always work out is what we realized. And it didn't, the odds were that it didn't work out more than it did. So we kind of went down the road of saying, all right, let's be the mentors. Let's be the ones they can call. Let's be the ones helping them, figure this crazy business out and give them the confidence that they can do it.
And to that point, I know that you and I have talked and you've opened a new location.
Yes.
And in those conversations, like I want to dive into that obviously, but in those conversations with you, you could have been talking about any sort of thing, right? Like the headache of finding real estate or like putting the systems together. But every time you were talking about how you were cultivating a team and growing this team and making sure that they had the tools that they needed. Yeah. So it's clearly in your DNA. But talk about this location. Tell me about the location.
Yeah, we're super excited. It's obviously always a risk and it's always a little nerve-wracking to decide to expand and grow. And we had a pretty strategic way that we wanted to do it. And we landed on Ambler, Pennsylvania. So we're down, we're down south. We're, sort of outside of Philadelphia. Great market to be in. Obviously a little different than what we deal with being, primarily in the Lehigh Valley here. But again, we were lucky. The process we did was we targeted a leader first. We wanted to find somebody that was interested in being in a management role and a leadership role for us. And then we kind of worked from there. And we brought in an experienced agent she had just gotten her broker's license. She actually came from Berkshire Hathaway to our company, Elisa DeVoli. She's incredible. She's just a go-getter. She works so hard. She's so passionate about growing it and helping agents and bringing them on board and recruiting and everything. And she's been just an absolute rock star for us. And she's from the Ambler area, which is how we ended up targeting that. So
That's great.
she knows the area. She's been, able to locate a great office space for us that's right by the train station, right in downtown Ambler, like just such a cool spot. And we were actually smart. So we kind of slowly transitioned. We're like, all right, let's make sure we have, the foundation before we just jump in, either pay for a building or start a lease. So we ended up, onboarding 15 agents first before we actually even opened the doors, which is really, yeah. So, hats off to her. She's an amazing asset to us. We're excited to see her continue to grow and that office to continue to grow. And I have a coaching program that I offer to all the agents, so I kind of do one-on-one meetings with them, every so often to help them set goals and things. And we've opened it up to the Ambler agents as well. And there's a handful of them that have jumped in on that. So they also meet with me, which is really cool because now I'm getting to know the agents down there, which is great.
So it really is part of your DNA, right? I mean, that mentoring, that helping people out.
Yeah.
Does it expand past real estate? Do you find yourself helping people in other ways?
For sure. Yeah. I like to give back. I've always been that kind of person. I love helping people. I love the community, anything that I can do. I'm on the board of two nonprofits. One, Lehigh Valley Aging in Place, which is a new one I just jumped into, which is a little unique. That's a newer venture for me, but there's definitely a need. Older people have certain challenges they run into. A good friend of mine, Allie Snell, she's been in social work and consulting and all this stuff, for people through Lehigh Valley Hospital and now kind of third party doctors and stuff like that. And she was the one that brought me in. Because she knows a lot of these people that she ends up meeting with, they need help. They're just placed in a home, or them and their family don't know what the next steps might be if they have a home that they need to sell. So obviously, it's using my expertise, but it's also helping and giving back. And then another one, it's called Community Options. They're a nonprofit. They started back in the 90s out of Princeton, but they're in 12 states now. They actually help adults with developmental disabilities. So their goal is to get them out of these big hospital facilities where they're not necessarily treated very well, and they get them into individual homes. So they put these people in homes with maybe only one or two other people, and then on-site staff and care and everything that they need. But it gives them a more home feel, to their life rather than being in a facility. So another really cool operation. It's really fun to be a part of. I've been with them for almost 6 years now. So, beyond helping them purchase the homes that they put the people in, I help them with their fundraising. We do, a 5K race in February. We do cornhole tournaments. We just do all these things to try to fundraise on top and help them continue to do what they do.
Is that the cornhole tournament that was happening earlier this year?
Yeah, the one in September that was at Funk. Yep.
Yes. Just tell everyone about that. It sounded so much fun. I was so bummed we were out of town.
Yeah, I mean it's a great event. It's been growing every year. We try to do it with a local partner, and I have a good relationship with the people at Funk Brewing there in Emmaus. So we've been hosting it there for the last few years, and we try to make it fun. We have two divisions so that people that aren't serious cornhole players, because there's some hardcore players out there, we have a fun division and then a competitive division. So, if you want to come and bring your own bags and be, in that competitive division, you can.
Right.
But if you want to just come, have fun and goof around and play that way, we do that as well. So it's a great event. There's obviously always a food truck that Funk has on site. It's always on a Saturday. September is usually a great time of year to be outside and be playing and not too hot or anything like that. So, Funk always contributes. Then we have fun raffle prizes. You can buy raffle tickets and we raffle off a bunch of baskets and cool prizes. We had tickets to Iron Pigs and the Phantoms, and I think we even had Eagles tickets this year that somebody donated for us to auction off. So it's cool. Yeah, it's good stuff.
That is cool.
Oh,
Yeah. You were telling me about it, and it sounded like so much fun. I was texting my wife, like, "Can we do this?" And she was like, "We have a wedding to go to." I was like,
That's
"I forgot
right.
about that."
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
Uh,
we understand, but yeah, they're a good group. My local people that I work with are awesome. They're dedicated to what they
yeah.
do. They always have a few of their clients come out to, that are able to come out to the event too. We have the one guy that always MCs it for us. He's hilarious. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's good stuff.
How do you find time and or manage your time? Right, like I hear two boards. I know you're involved with Brookside Country
Yeah,
Club. You've got three little kids. You're crushing it as a realtor. You're opening a new location. Like, how do you do it, Frank?
I'm not sure. Some days I ask myself the same question. No, it's finding that that work life balance is super important.
Hmm.
I'm very lucky. My wife's a rock star at home, which helps. There's obviously times where I can be there. I'm kind of the one that gets them going in the morning. I take them to school, but then she's kind of balancing the rest of the day with their crazy schedules. And luckily, there's some days where I can be around during the day, but that's what's nice about a flexible schedule. But it's really, yeah, there's definitely times where it all piles up. There's certain weeks where it's just crazy because all the meetings, everything happens to fall on the same week a lot. And,
Yeah.
it's just making sure that I don't go too crazy when I don't have to. So it's easy for me to jump into work, even though it's a Saturday and be like, all right, I can put that off for a day or two.
Hmm.
What can we do with the kids? It's a nice day. Do they have soccer? Right? It's always something, but
The answer is usually yes,
it's a
though, to
tricky
that
balance.
question.
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah. I said the answer is usually yes to that question. Do they have
Yeah.
soccer?
Yes, exactly. Or
Uh-huh.
they changed the time. We thought the game was at 10 and it was at 12 or it was at 9. I'm like, you got to pay
Yes.
attention to those emails and the calendars because it's a little crazy. But
So,
no, we're lucky that a lot of the things we do that the kids enjoy and also involve the club and Brookside. That they have a lot of fun there. So that's a very
yeah.
family oriented club. So we enjoy spending our time there, which is nice because if I'm doing, if I'm getting asked questions because I'm on the board there too, it's I can kind of mesh it all together. And I'm
Right.
a golfer, so obviously golf is a part of my life and my business and things that I do as well. So that kind of all ties into that as well.
Golf was not on my list of things to talk about, but you are a big golfer. Like, tell me about your love of the game and sort of what you love about it.
Yeah, I mean it was unexpected. I never was very into golf. No one in my family really was. My grandfather was a little bit, but unfortunately he passed when I was younger, so I didn't do a lot of golf
Mm.
with him. But I was a guy looking for something to be competitive at once I stopped playing baseball. I needed
Right.
I needed that. I've always had that my whole life. More to be just competitive with myself to say you're an athlete. You need something to do. So
Yeah.
it kind of just became what everybody was doing. When I was in my early 20s, then people started
Hmm.
golfing. So I'm like, all right, let's check out golf.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely fell in love with it. I mean, it's such a fascinating sport. It challenges you mentally, physically. It's such a hard game, and I don't know if people realize that, but it's impressive what these pros do in golf, especially because it is such a crazy hard sport. And I'm playing courses that aren't that tough. They're playing not
Right.
only playing the hardest courses in the world, but they're doing it incredibly well, and it that also fascinates me. So that was part of my love of golf too, as I started watching a lot of golf, and I really enjoy watching these guys compete. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I hear a lot of like a refrain going over and over is this competition, this drive to compete.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, when you're, like you said, everything kind of stacks up at once and those weeks become hard weeks. What is driving you through those? Like, what's motivating you to keep doing it and keep going?
It's that I enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's easy to self motivate when it's something you really love and you really enjoy. And I get to do this on my own schedule. I get to do it how I want to do it. I don't have to report to the 9 to 5. I'm able to block off my calendar if I need to, or if I want to play golf, or if we got stuff with the kids, or for Laura and I to go do something. So I just really enjoy it, and I enjoy the life that we built here. So it continues to motivate me to keep going.
Hmm.
And my love for real estate and my passion for helping people, I think pushes me to want to continue to grow the company and keep expanding so that we can offer, our platform, which I think is really unique to as many agents as we can, help them grow. It's fun. It's fun watching other agents' business grow too, because you've trained them and you've helped them and you've guided them to get to that point. That's almost as exciting as my business continuing to grow.
Absolutely. You were talking about growing other people's businesses and watching it grow. Like, how big is the team now? How unique is Better Homes and Gardens? You were talking a bit about the difference there. What is the
Yep.
difference?
Yeah. I mean, we're very agent centric. We're focused on our agents and their growth. We've put together an incredible leadership team. We have myself, we have Steve Gould, who's the broker of record, the managing broker and one of the owners. And then his wife, Renee, is actually another owner. She's actually our president. So she's actually been in real
Hmm.
estate. Her father was a big real estate guy back in the day, Gordon Shantz. And so she's been in real estate since she got out of college. She used to run operations and
Wow.
stuff for the Pat White Emmaus office back in like 96. So, she's our operations girl. She keeps everything together on the back end. She's running the commission, she's running the back end, all the operations, ordering all the stuff for the agents that they need. And we have Becky Height. She is a licensed agent, but she's our basically our admin and our transaction coordinator. She manages all of that. So one thing that's unique is we offer transaction coordination to all of our agents. So
Hmm.
in real estate, that's usually something the agent needs to hire their own TC or their own assistant. We actually do that in house at no cost for all of our agents.
Oh,
So
wow.
Becky manages all of that. She's done so much more than that. I mean, she's helped us transition software companies when we wanted to go from a proprietary two-part system to everything all in one for contract writing and
Hmm.
file storage and everything. So she did that for us. She actually helped us set up a health benefits platform, which is kind of unique because 1099 agents don't normally get that. So
No.
we actually have a way that they can. It's basically on the penny service, but it's exclusively through our company that they can go out and shop plans and be able to get something that's a little more reasonable and a little more
That is unique.
on the
Wow.
group. Yeah. So we actually organized that with Nick Trengooch from BSI. I don't know if you know Nick.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. So that took, I think, maybe over 2 years to try to put into place. So that
Yeah.
was a very unique thing that Becky was kind of spearheading for us as well. And we have Melissa Bargiel. She actually is our most recent member of the team, but she came in as our marketing director. So another unique thing that we do is we do full in-house marketing for all of our agents. So agents don't
Wow.
have to go out and find a media company or something like that to do this stuff. So from social media content to flyers to listing presentations to anything you can imagine. She just helped me design a new business card. So it's everything you can imagine for the agent. Again, something we do in house at no cost to our agent. So we're always trying to offer them this huge support system, this huge team behind them, so that they can go out, they can sell, they continue to fill their funnel and grow their business, and not have to worry about those tedious things that just suck your time. That you have
Yeah.
to do when you're running your business on the back end, and stuff that potentially costs you thousands of dollars a month if you're paying for this out of pocket, as a 1099.
Absolutely.
So it's a unique system. Everybody that is there wants to be there. They love having the
Hmm.
team. They love being a part of the team. We have a great culture with our agents and everybody at our company, where everybody wants to share. They want to be collaborative. It's not, oh, I don't want to give you my secret because you're gonna then do more business than me. It's everybody
Right.
like we talked about. It's that cooperation, but we have it very deep knit in our company. So
It was great. And you hit on marketing there.
yeah,
I follow you on all the social platforms. You are very good at it. Like, talk to me about the importance of it, your strategy, just how you think about marketing in
sure, yeah,
general.
yeah. I mean, it's a big part of my business. I mean, it's where I spend pretty much most of my marketing time.
Hmm.
I see the strength in it. I do some old school stuff, but the online marketing is the key to reach so many people in sort of a simple way. But for me, it's being consistent. So many agents think, if I throw a post up every now and then, it's gonna do something. No, you have to be on it. You have to be sharing good content. You have to be able to be engaged in other people's content, which I found
Hmm.
I learned along the way. It's not just about what I'm posting, but it's interacting with
Yeah.
what other people are doing too. Because that's what they're going to see as well as seeing your stuff. But what's really cool, and one thing we love about being branded with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. Now we're Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Valley partners because we're individually owned, but we're franchised
Hmm.
with BHG. So that's a great name, right? That's a name everybody knows. But what comes with that and what's unique to us is we have access to all of their content, all of their
Wow.
blogs, all of their articles, all of their imagery, everything that they have for all the magazines, because Better Homes and Gardens is through Meredith Corp, which that they actually own like 7 or 8 magazines, not just Better Homes and Gardens magazine. So there's so
Yeah.
much content that we have access to that no one else does. Only the
Wow. Did
BH.
you know it's the fourth most distributed magazine in the
Yeah,
US?
yeah, it's
I did
crazy.
my research.
Nice. No, and that's what we loved, and I don't think we realized right away, the power of the brand. And we're really trying to harness that and leverage that now and get our agents to too, because that can make you stand out, especially on social media. You talked about what do we do different? What am I doing different? Using some of that unique content that other agents aren't able to post will make me stand out. And it'll make me stand out, outside of the transaction window. I think that's what people miss is you're working with a client, you have a great rapport going with them because you're spending a lot of time with them, especially buyers. We're out showing them tons of
Right.
homes. We're with them all the time. Then when we close on a home and you don't get to see them all the time, you don't get to interact. So you have to try to find a way to stay in front of them, but make it relevant. I know my people that just bought a home don't want to see market updates. They don't want to see what rates are. That they're not necessarily interested in that stuff now because they just went through that process. So it's offering
Yeah.
up other cool, trendy information. What's the trending paint color this fall? What are the cool things that are going to add the most value if you bought a home that now you're going to do some remodeling to? Cool stuff like that we can get through BHG that has all that lifestyle stuff that we can share.
Hmm.
So it's very neat.
Yeah. So we are like bumping up on time, which I'm very sad about. I didn't hit a lot of the things that you sent over or that I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to do this again.
Okay.
But you got me thinking about two things. The first, I hesitate to ask this because it's gonna open up a box for Trish, but like what would be the best home renovation to do? Like if you were looking at someone and said this will add the most equity to your home or will just make your home better. I'm coming to the source here. What's the best renovation to do to my house?
So, it's funny. It's a smaller thing. If you're talking about dollar for dollar, it's actually flooring, which I don't think a lot of
Okay.
people expect. But
No, I didn't.
it's something that you get a big return on your money because it's not necessarily a huge expense to do, but it really can
Yeah,
elevate an entire room or an entire house just by doing the flooring, and doing something modern and doing something that
interesting.
looks nice. Bathrooms are, especially the half bath, are
Hmm.
up there. Once you get into kitchens, that's the thing that everybody wants to do. It's not necessarily the best return on your money, but
Okay.
it's not always about the dollar for dollar back. I think it's about what it does to make your home more sellable. So that's something you always want to think about when you're looking at what type of remodel are you going to do. You're going to go bold because it's something you really want, or are you going to go a little more neutral just to be safe in the grand scheme of things when it comes to, all right, when I go to sell this, is this going to be something that not a lot of buyers are going to be into? But it was something that I really had to have. And a lot of times that I have to do this right now is because it's a trendy thing that people just saw and they're like, oh, that's
Yeah,
really neat. And then that trendy thing fades. So
right.
I would say that's something to watch out for too is, don't necessarily jump on the big project that's all trendy because then that's going to be hard to change when you're like, oh, I'm not really that into it anymore.
I'm a sucker for trends, and Trish always says like, "This isn't going to be cool in 10, 15 years." And I'm like,
That's what you got to
"Whatever."
watch. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's, a cool thing too. I don't think a lot of people know. My wife is actually an incredibly talented interior designer.
I've seen some of the work that she's done, and
Yeah.
you're absolutely
So,
right. Yeah.
I kind of lean on her too. I get the content from BHG, but I lean on her because she follows a lot of it and she's involved. My house is slowly becoming a model home for her because she's taking on all
Yeah.
these different projects and just making it pretty incredible. She did that to our last house before we sold it too, but
That's a
she's
one-two
very
punch
modest,
right there, though. A realtor and an
right?
interior
I
designer.
know. Get us a
Yeah.
TV show.
All right, so we always kick it up a notch here, which is a segment brought to you by Notch Modern Kitchen and Bar. They're our sponsor. They're the
Nice.
greatest restaurant in the Lehigh Valley.
Fantastic. Yep.
Um, and they do a cool thing where they make a custom cocktail, right? So you tell them sort of what liquor you want in it and what mood you're feeling, and they put it together, and it's always a home run.
Oh yeah.
But it's the end of the week, and Frank has sold a whole bunch of houses, and he's looking to unwind and get the weekend started. Like, what are you reaching for? How are you kicking it up a notch?
My go-to, it's been my staple for a while now, is I'm a tequila guy. I'm a Casamigos guy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So are you drinking it straight? Or are you
I
making
will
a margarita?
sometimes, depending on the week I had. No, but you can. I mean, that's what's great about, my wife and I both, we love the Casamigos. Because you can. I mean, you could drink it just on some ice, maybe a squirt of lime if you're feeling that. But, you can make great cocktails. I think people just think margarita, but there's, we've dabbled. Guys at Notch have done some great ones for us. The guys at the Shelby too, both that, they've created some neat, let's change it up a little bit. Always kind of on the margarita side of things, but to me, that any time of year, I can always go for a good tequila drink.
Tequila.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I like I said, I'm really bummed that we are out of time, but any final words, anything that we didn't hit that you want to hit?
No, I mean, I think we hit the key stuff. Obviously, we had some other things we could have talked about, but I know you go off on a little side tangent, and that's what happens. But no, I think I hit the key stuff on my side.
Awesome. Well, Frank, I wish you all the best and continued success. I mean, with the opening, with how you continue to operate in the market, like it's fun watching you from the sidelines and on your social media where you're very active.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate
absolutely.
That. I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come. We're in growth mode, man. We're excited to try to target some other markets and keep things going. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, we will have you back when you have grown even more. Thanks so much for coming on, Frank.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the YMI Talking Podcast. If you enjoyed this and want to hear more content from amazing personalities in the Valley, please subscribe, leave a rating, and drop us a quick review.